Good Monday morning, everyone. Welcome to the next game in the 1987 American League replay as I try to get this all filled in where it's supposed to be. Hopefully, that's a good spot right there. And we can get this game going. It is game number 270 on the replay. The only game played May 21st, 1987 in the American League was this game. We're at Cleveland's Municipal Stadium. Singles are 1 to 11 for both. Home runs 1 to 8 for lefties, 1 to 11 for right-handers. Minnesota enters the game 18 and 21. Cleveland enters the game 15 and 24. Starting pitchers Greg Swindell, a left-hander for Cleveland, and Bert Blyleven, the right-hander veteran for the Minnesota Twins. So let's look at Greg Swindell. In real world, he was 3 and 8 with a 5.10 earned run average. On the replay to date, he will be making his 9th start. So in his first 8 starts, he's 3 and 4, which is pretty good because that means you've got 7 decisions and 8 starts. That means you're hanging around. So 3 and 4, ERA of 3.56, 60 and 2/3 innings, 50 hits, 27 walks and 54 strikeouts. So that is the numbers. Those are the numbers for Greg Swindell in the replay. And he'll be facing the Minnesota Twins. Notice that Gene Larkin is at first base instead of Herbeck, and there's a definite reason for that. Herbeck just can't hit left-handed pitching. In the replay, Herbeck is hitting 309. But if you break down the numbers, Herbeck is hitting 160 against lefties, 393 against righties. So he's in 50 at-bats in the replay against lefties. He's hitting a $160. So that's the reason why he's on the bench. And Tom Kelly knew that. That's another reason why they had him on the bench. Not just this replay. This replay is just bearing that out. But that's the situation at hand. So we are just about ready to get going here. I do have my tools of the trade that I need in the morning Strat-O-Matic games. Had the weekend off from Strat-O-Matic. Did not play any Strat-O-Matic all weekend. So I'm refreshed and ready to go. Did play season ticket baseball in the game of the week on Saturday morning. That's been it. No games at all on Sunday of any kind. All right, due up for the Minnesota Twins. It will be Dan Gladden. And on the replay, Gladden is only hitting 208. He's kind of not had a good start here. 16 for 77. 3 homers and 8 runs batted in. He hit 249 real world. So he's only hitting 208 in the replay. And run away. 4-7. Swindell against the right-handers. A ground ball, second base X. Right away, we have an X chance. Tony Bernazard is a 4-E22. And the double die comes up. Boy, the double die hasn't missed a beat. Despite being off for the weekend, the double die has not missed its beat. It is right where it usually is. So 4-2, that's a definite base hit. Don't even have to look at it. 4-2 is a single. That's a 6. He's an E22. There is no 6, but it is going to be a leadoff single for Dan Gladden, courtesy of the double die. All right, Dan Gladden has 4 steals. He's been caught once. That's on the replay. These cards don't list his overall numbers in real world, so we're going to see if he can get the lead. Swindell is a -2, though. You got a -3 from Swindell and a +1 from Dempsey for a -2. So if Gladden did get the lead and establish the lead, it would be a -4. -2 for being held and a -2 for the pitcher-catcher, so that's 14. So he would get a 1 to 14 chance, but he's got to get a 4, 5, or 6 to establish the lead. And he gets the 6, so he establishes the lead. So it's a 1 to 14 to steal second base. And it's a 2. He steals a base plus a possible throwing error on Dempsey. His T rating is a 3. So no throwing error, but it is the 5th stolen base of the season for Dan Gladden. And he gets into scoring position with nobody out. Hello, Jeremiah. Gets in a scoring position with nobody out. And here comes Steve Lombardozzi. That's a 2, chance of a balk or a pass ball. We're looking at a balk chance on Swindell. He has a balk rating of 4. No balk. So Swindell does not balk, so Lombardozzi will take his hacks. On the replay, he's hitting 295, 33 out of 112, 2 homers and 13 driven in. He only hit 238 real world, so he's doing much, much better. But it's still kind of early. 1-8 against the left-hander. That's a split chance. 1-3 is a single. That's an 18. He's going to line it to short, where Julio Franco will snag it, and there's one away. And that'll bring up Kirby Puckett. Puckett on the replay, hitting 309, 51 out of 165, 5 homers, 18 driven in. Another, well, these double dives just coming up low left and right. Another balk chance for Swindell. Again, it's a 1-4. No balk. All right, here's Puckett. 2-7 for Puckett, and that's a ground ball to short. It's going to freeze Gladden at second base, 2 down. Puckett is retired. And that will send up. Oh, cool. Yeah, Digital Diamond. Love Digital Diamond. Love it. The best thing about it is all the seasons come. When you buy it once, you get everything. That's the best part. You don't have to buy the individual seasons. Otherwise, replay baseball is actually the most user friendly, but you got to pay $30 a season pretty much. Digital Diamond, about $30 will get you everything. So, and I'm cheap, so I enjoy that. All right, here's Gary Gaetti. He's hitting 235 on the replay, 38 of 162, 8 homers, 32 driven in. Clutch situation for Gary Gaetti, and in the clutch, he gains a hit on a 1-4 and a 3-9. The other places he is neutral. It's 210, and that's a strikeout for Gaetti. Swindell got him and gets out of the inning. So the leadoff single and stolen base by Gladden do not come to fruition for any runs. Swindell gets out of it. We go to the bottom of the first. It is the Twins nothing and the Indians coming to bat. And Bert Blyleven, the veteran, is on the mound for the Twins. Hello, Colin. And Blyleven on the replay is 4-4 with a 5.98 earned run average. He has made 9 starts so far, 1 complete game, 61 2/3 innings, 52 hits, 34 walks, 47 strikeouts. He had a 4.01 ERA in real world, so he's almost 2 points higher than that. He's not had a good replay. Here comes Brett Butler, the leadoff man for Cleveland. And the Indians were definitely glad to get him back after being injured for so long. Butler's leading the team and hitting at 380. 30 of 79, no homers, 4 driven in. That's a 1-5, and he's going to draw a leadoff walk. So Brett Butler will be looking to run. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. Butler, I see Blyleven's a +2 pitcher-catcher hold quotient. He's a +2, and the catcher Laudner's a 0. So if he gets the lead, it would be a 1-15. So that's pretty good odds for Butler. So he needs a 2-8 or a 12. And that's a 1. That means there's a chance he might get picked off. His safe return is a 13. A 1-13, he gets back to first safely. 14 or higher, he is picked off. And Blyleven picks him off. How about that? Bert Blyleven with a great move, picks him off. Erases Butler. And now that'll bring up Julio Franco. Franco on the replay, hitting 302, 49 of 162. 2 homers, 20 driven in. That's a 2-4, and that's a fly ball to left field. Easy play out there for the left fielder Gladden. 2 down for Pat Tabler. Tabler is hitting 359, 56 out of 156, 4 homers, 23 driven in. That's a 3-4, and that's a ground ball to short. Easy play for Gagne. And the Tribe go quietly. Leadoff walk, but the pickoff took care of that. We go to the second, no score. From Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. Mistake by the lake. Gene Larkin playing first base in place of Herbeck, who can't hit lefties, so that he's in there, switch hitter. Gene Larkin. And let's get the numbers on Larkin in the replay. Larkin He's a recent call up actually, or maybe he was injured. I don't know. He's only had one at bat in the replay. He's 0 for 1. So, but in real world, he had 266. Switch hitting first baseman. That's a 3-8, and a 3-8 is a base on balls. How about that? First walk issued by Swindell, but really no threat to run for Larkin, so he will hold where he is. Here's Tom Brunansky. He's the DH for today's game, actually. Brunansky is hitting 283, 39 of 138, 4 homers, 13 driven in. It's a 6-6, and that's going to be a strikeout for Swindell, his second. One away for Mark Davidson. He is in right field for this one. Davidson is hitting 222. He's only 12 out of 54. 1 homer and 5 driven in, but I don't know if it shows up very well on the screen here, but 69% of his at-bats were against left-handed pitching. So I don't know if that shows up all that well, but 31% against right-handers. So he was definitely in there against the lefties. Definitely a platoon type guy. So let's see what he can do against the lefty Swindell. Hello, Bart. Good to see you. Good morning to you. 6-5, and that's a strikeout. So Swindell gets back-to-back Ks for 2 quick outs after the leadoff walk, and that brings up the catcher Laudner, Tim Laudner. Laudner is hitting 238, 10 out of 42, but 4 of those 10 hits have been home runs to go with 10 runs batted in. 2 again. So check of another balk or pass ball for Swindell. His, let's see, we're checking balks. Yep, he's a balk rating of 4. And no balk. So here is Laudner. 4-7. Ground ball second base X. The run on first was not being held. So ground ball second base X. And second baseman is Bernazard, a 4E22. 4 and a 12 is going to be iffy, but he might get to that. 4 and a 12 is a G3. He'll get to it. That's a 9. He's an E22. There is no 9. So it's a good play for Bernazard, and that will take care of the Twins in the second inning. We go to the bottom of the second. No score. And Blyleven back out. We'll face the very much struggling Joe Carter. Joe Carter had a really nice offensive year in 1987, but in the replay here on Strat, he is having his issues. Joe Carter hitting 180, 31 out of 172, 6 homers and 10 driven in. He hit 264 real world. 1-3, but that's no trouble there. That's a solid home run. 1-3, as the wonderful Dr. Jeffrey Guterman would say when he did his Strat replays, that's clean as a baby's ass right there. Can't miss it. Clean as a baby's ass. 1-3, home run. Joe Carter. For Carter, that is home run number 7 on the replay. In real world, he had 32. This is home run number 7. And RBI number 11. Solo shot for Carter. And the Tribe leads it 1-0. Hello, Jeffrey. Your ears must have been burning. Just trying to pay homage to you with clean as a baby's ass on the Carter home run. That 1-3. Clean as a baby's ass home run right there. All right, Cleveland leads it 1-0 thanks to the Carter home run. Here's Mel Hall. Hall on the replay is hitting 320, 39 out of 122. And 5 homers, 17 driven in. 310, and that's a ground ball right back to Blyleven. 1 away. 311 would have been a home run, but 310 is an out. So he just missed it by as Don Adams would have said, missed it by that much. So 310 to the 311. So here's Brooke Jacoby. Jacoby is hitting 343. 49 out of 143, 4 homers and 22 driven in. It's 2-5, and that's going to be a 1 for a double, but anything else he will fly to left. And Dan Gladden will haul it in left field for out number 2. Brings up hello, Alan. I'm sure somebody will do something for Davy Johnson. I don't do much of those kind of things, but somebody else wants to do it. Go right ahead. Let's see here. Corey Snyder. Snyder on the replay is hitting 240, 36 out of 150, 5 homers, 16 driven in. 4-7, and that's ground ball second base X. We're looking at Lombardozzi. He's a 2E18. 2 and a 5. Boy, that double die is still flirting with low numbers, but I think 5 is going to be okay. Yep, it will be. That's a 14, and he's a 14. 14, no, there's a 15 and a 16, but no 14. So Lombardozzi able to make the play, but Joe Carter's home run gives the Cleveland Indians a 1-0 lead after 2 complete here at the Mistake by the Lake known as Municipal Stadium. Swindell out. Will be facing the number 9 man, Greg Gagne with the spoon. For all you 80s junkies, 80s movies junkies with the Valley Girls and all that stuff. Remember all that when I was growing up. Gagne on the replay, hitting .314, 27 out of 86, 2 homers and 11 driven in. Interesting, though, that he's pronounced Gagne. There was a pitcher for the Dodgers named Eric Gagne, had the same spelling, but pronounced it Gagne. So it depends on how you want to, how you want to pronounce it. But all right, here is Mr. Gagne against Swindell, 6-8, and that's a 1-4 single. And the double die comes up again as a 1. Double die is in midweek form here on a Monday morning, and I'm telling you, it comes up more than 5%. I've got documented. It's documented fact. It's not speculation anymore. It's now a documented fact. It's not even pretend anymore. It's not a 5% thing. So, all right, Gagne needs a 2 through 6 to get the lead. But an 8 means he gets picked off. The 8 is the number to the right-hand side of the slash. It's a caught stealing pickoff. What do you want to call it? I choose to call it a pickoff. You can call it whatever the hell you want. I call it a pickoff. And that's the second runner that's been picked off, as Butler got picked off on the double die roll with the 1 came up trying for the lead. He got picked off here, and then this one same way. So we had 2 pickoffs already. And here's Dan Gladden. 2-7, and that's a ground ball to short. Where had he not tried for the steal, that would have been a double play either way. So there would have been 2 outs recorded no matter how you sliced it. And here's Lombardozzi. 1-5, and that's a base on balls. So Lombardozzi needs a 4 to get the lead. Well, we got hop and dice, so we need to re-roll that. He gets the 4. He will get the lead. He's a 17. Being held is a 15. And then the -2 is a 13. So 1-13, Lombardozzi will steal it. And he's caught stealing. So 2 outs on the base paths by the Cleveland Indians, or by the Twins, rather, as Cleveland erases those base runners. And Lombardozzi is caught stealing. So we go to the bottom of the 3rd. And Blyleven, keep banging into my coffee cup. Got to have that for the morning strat. And to borrow another idiom from Mr. Guterman, that's some good coffee. All right. Here is Tony Bernazard, second baseman for Cleveland. On the replay, Bernazard checks in, hitting .229, 32 homers, 140. I'm sorry, 32 at bats, 140. 32 hits, 140 at bats. I'll get it right eventually. He had .250 real world. He's struggling though at .229, 4 homers, 19 driven in. He will later get traded to Oakland later in the season. 4-5, switch hitter batting left. That's a fly ball to Puckett in center, and there's 1 away. Brings up the veteran catcher Rick Dempsey, many years with the Orioles. finish his career with the Cleveland, and later next year he'll go to the Dodgers and be on the '88 World Series team. But right now in '87 he's with the Indians, and on the replays in 197, 13 of 66, a homer and 11 driven in. He hit 177 real world, so he's actually doing a little bit better. 512, and that's going to be a split chance. 1 to 14 is a single. That's a 12. So Dempsey, a 1-out single, but he is no threat to run whatsoever. They won't hold him on, won't do anything. And here comes Brett Butler. Butler, the batter. Nothing on the havoc. 3-6 for Butler, and that's a single, just 1 star. So Dempsey will stop at second base. But now 2-1 with 1 out as the Tribe try to extend the lead. Here's Julio Franco. 6-10, that's a ground ball, third base X. This could be a double play. Gaetti is a 1E12, so good chance that they will turn 2 here. 1 and a 6. Double die doesn't hurt him this time because a 1 is going to get you everything. 1 and a 6 is a G1. That's a total of 10. I don't see an error on a 10 hardly ever. E12, there's no 10. There's a 12 there, but no 10. So it's a 5-4-3 around the horn double play to end the inning, and Blyleven pitches out of it. So at the end of 3, it's 1-0 Cleveland. As we head to the 4th, both pitchers have fatigue numbers of 7. So they can go quite a while as long as they're effective. Here is Kirby Puckett. Grounded to short his first time up. 2-7 against the lefty. It's a ground ball to short. He'll do it again. He liked it so much he did it again. Grounded to short twice. 1 away for Gary Gaetti. 4-5, and that's a base on balls. So now Gaetti needs a 3-6 to get the lead, but they've already had a couple runners erased, so they're going to hold Gaetti there. And here comes Gene Larkin, switch hitting first baseman. Walked his first chance. 1-8, and he's going to ground to short for a double play. 6-4-3. Well, if you try to get a lead and steal, you get picked off. That's bad. And if you don't do it, you hit into a double play, and that's bad. So it's kind of a darn if you do and darn if you don't kind of thing. That's going to end the inning. So it's still 1-0. I was expecting more runs than this. Of course, we're still early. I mean, still only the bottom of the 4th, so lots of runs could be scored. But right now, the pitchers are holding the batters in check. Here is Pat Tabler. 2-2 against the right-hander. Needs a strikeout plus injury, so Tabler has a chance to be injured. Needs a 1-4 to stay in the game. He cannot, so he's got to come out of this game. He is the designated hitter, so Cleveland can go to anybody they want for the DH, and they will go to a newly arrived roster move, Dave Clark, was just called up. So Dave Clark will take over as the DH for Pat Tabler. So Tabler on the result itself, I believe I said it was a strikeout, was it not? Yes, so it's adding injury to the insult by getting struck out and then getting hurt. So Dave Clark will come in and be the DH. Dave Clark. On the 87 replay, he had 87 at bats, hit 207 with 3 home runs. So he will be the new DH going forward. All right, here's Joe Carter. He homered for the only run of the game so far. 2-4, and this time he's going to ground to third, where Gaetti makes the play, 2 down. And that will send up Mel Hall. 5-6, and that's a 1-2 double. Fly to right field, though, is going to end the inning. And now both pitchers seem to have settled into a little comfort zone. We go to our 5th inning, and it's still 1-0. Swindell will be facing Brunansky, Davidson, and Laudner for the Twins. All right-handed hitters for the Twins, or switch hitters. Nobody's batting for the left-handed batter's box for the Twins, not against Swindell. And again, Don't know how well this shows up, but Swindell only faced 17%. I don't know if it can get it to focus in here or not, but he only faced 7. I can't get this thing to show up right. Can I get closer? No, that's too close. 17%, where he faced 83% right-handed batters. So a lot of the teams piled up right-handed pitching, batting against him. Where if you play Strat Basic, you don't capture that. So that's why I prefer not to play Basic. All right, here is 4-11, and a right-hander. That's ground ball first base X. That's Joe Carter. He's a 3E24 for Carter. 3 and a 10 should be able to get to that. 3 and a 10 is a G2, and that's a 10 there, and he is an E24. No 10. There's an 11, 12, 13, 14, but no 10. If he was an E23, he'd have made an error, but not an E24. He will get to it and flip it over to Swindell covering for out number 1. And that brings up Mark Davidson. 3-3, and that is a line out right to the first baseman Carter. So he's made 2 plays now. 2 down for Tim Laudner. 2-3, and that's going to be a ground ball to second, and easy play for Mr. Bernazard, and the Twins are gone in 5 innings. Swindell has shut them down. The eventual world champions are getting shut down. Bottom of the 5th, Blyleven back out. Will face Jacoby, Snyder, and Bernazard for the Cleveland Indians. This, again, the only game to be played May 21st. No other game on the schedule. It's a Thursday in 1987, and it's a travel day for most teams. And it is game 270 of the replay. 3-5, and that's going to be a single, solid single for Brooke Jacoby. Solid single. Jacoby, no threat to run. He will not go anywhere. And Corey Snyder, the bat. 4-9, and that's a ground ball second base C, so that'll get the runner over. It's like a glorified bunt almost, or glorified sacrifice, because the runner is advanced. 1 away for Tony Bernazard. Jacoby now in scoring position. 4-6 against a switch hitter. 4-6 is a walk. So runners at first and second, and that is the second walk issued by Blyleven. Does set up a double play potential to get out of the inning against Rick Dempsey, although Dempsey did single his first time up. That's a 5-8 right-hander. 5-8 is a strikeout. Big strikeout there for Blyleven, his second strikeout to go along with 2 walks. That brings up Brett Butler in a clutch situation, and against right-handers, Butler loses a hit on 2-8. And he loses 2 hits on 3-8 and 3-9. So a little bit anti-clutch going on there for Mr. Butler. 3-8, and that's one of the anti-clutches right there. 3-8 would have been a single, but you see the omega symbol there. Can't see it that good. I'll bring it up a little closer. You see 3-8 has the omega symbol there, and that's going to take the hit away. So instead of a base hit 2 stars, it's going to be a pop-up to second. And the inning is over. So the anti-clutch got him. I know some people don't like to play the clutch rules, but I enjoy them. So I'm going to put him out there. Strat took the time to rate it, so I'm going to use it. I try to use everything super advanced except for robbing home runs and blocking the plate. Other than that, I pretty much use everything that's advanced. That's super advanced, rather. So here's Greg Gagne. That's a 5-5 for Gagne, and that's a strikeout. Swindell picks up the K, and that is his 4th strikeout of the ball game. Neither pitcher striking out a whole lot, but they're getting outs when they need them. Here's Dan Gladden. 6-9 against Swindell. That's a base hit for Gladden. Second hit of the game for Gladden, and he had a stolen base in the first inning, so he's going to try again. Needs a 4, 5, or 6 to get the lead. And 9, he does not get the lead, so he will hold. And here's Lombardozzi. 3-8 against the lefty, and that's a ground ball shortstop A, another double play, 6-4-3. Double play. Second double play hit into by the Twins. They've had 2 players erased on the bases and with pickoffs and caught stealings, and some more players erased on 2 double plays. So that's why they have no runs. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. Julio Franco, the batter. That's a 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Blyleven against Franco. Strikeout number 3 on the game for Blyleven. Here's Dave Clark, his first at bat of the replay, as he was just called up, and he's taking the place of Tabler at DH. That's a 2-12, and he's going to ground it to first, where Gene Larkin will handle it. 2 down for Joe Carter, responsible for the only home run of the game, or the only run of the game with his home run. 1-6, and he's going to have a split chance. 1-2 is a single. That's a 10, though. He lines it to short, where Gagne snags it. And at the end of 6, we still got a 1-0 ball game. So if you like pitching duels, you are at the right place. If you want slugfest, might not be the game for you. All right, so this is the fatigue inning for both pitchers. Both pitchers have a 7 there on their fatigue, so got to keep an eye on that. Here is Kirby Puckett. Puckett is grounded to short twice. 4-10. Not going to ground to short this time. 1-19 is a home run, and that is gone. Kirby. The Union Gap. Kirby Puckett. Look at it again. 4-10. And home run chance. 1-19. That's an 18. He has normal power. That's gone. Kirby Puckett just ties this ball game up with a solo shot to lead off the top of the 7th. We are tied at 1 apiece, and I'll get the numbers on Puckett. I had that screen lowered. Let's see how many home runs that is for Puckett. For Puckett, that is home run number 6, RBI number 19 on the replay. And we are tied at a run apiece. Brand new ball game. Here's Gary Gaetti. Gaetti has struck out and walked. 2-4. And he's going to pop it up to short. If he was in a clutch situation, that would have, I'm sorry, I was looking at 1-4. 2-4 is a line out to first base. So he lines it to Carter for 1 away. 1 down for Gene Larkin. He's walked and hit into a double play. 2-12, and he's going to ground it to short for Franco. And here comes Brunansky. 1-9 for Bruno, and he walks. 2-out walk issued to Brunansky. He has a chance to get the lead, but it's not a good one, so they're going to hold him there and see if Davidson can do something. That's a 5-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Franco. He's a 2E26. 2E26. Devil Die strikes again. 2-2. Single 1 star. That'll move Brunansky to second base. We'll check for the error. That's a 9, and he's an E26 at shortstop. E26, there's no 9 there, but the Devil Die coming up a 2. Strikes again, first and second now, and Swindell is now tired. That is the 3rd base runner he's allowed in this fatigue inning. So he is tired. They're going to try to get him through the inning, but if he hits one of these dots, it's going to turn to a base hit. So they got to proceed with caution. Here's Tim Laudner. 2-11, and that's, whoa, look at that. Talk about proceeding with caution. He didn't proceed with caution enough. 2-11, another one that's clean as a baby's ass right here. You don't need the D20. You don't need the ballpark effect. You don't need anything. 2-11, that's a 3-run home run. And if I remember my nomenclature from police shows, a 2-11 in progress meant there was a robbery going on. And I think the Twins are trying to rob this game from Cleveland after being behind 1-0. Because there's a 2-11 in progress right here for a 3-run shot for Tim Laudner. And that's going to be it for Mr. Swindell. He went 1 batter too many. So Tim Laudner just cracked it. 3-run shot, the old Earl Weaver 3-run home run, and the Twins lead it 4-1, and that's why the Twins were the world champions and why the Cleveland Indians lost 100 games. You just saw it right there, kind of in its natural habitat. For Laudner, that is his 5th home run, and RBIs 11, 12, and 13. And now Cleveland will go to the bullpen. Too little, too late, as it turns out. But what are you going to do? Swindell goes 6 2/3. Unhappy innings. And the Tribe will bring in Mark Huseman to pitch. He started the season in Kansas City. He got traded to Cleveland, so he's with Cleveland now. So we'll get the numbers on Huseman and see how he's doing on the replay. And these will be numbers for both teams combined because it's the same league. Let's see here. Huseman is, where'd he go? There he is. Actually, no, this is the number just for Cleveland. Computer separates it. So he's only had one game for Cleveland, went 3 2/3, gave up nothing. So his ERA is 0. No hits, no runs, no nothing. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. So Huseman apparently has found new life in Cleveland that he didn't have in Kansas City. So Mark Huseman. And we'll get the numbers on Swindell before we continue, because I don't have the game on the computer to score it, so I got to do it manually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits I've got him for, and a total of 4 runs, all earned. He walked, I believe he walked 2. No, walked 3 right there. Walked 4. He walked 4. And he struck out 4 as well. But he's on the hook for the loss unless Cleveland can tie this game at some point. Huseman's a -2 hold, so that makes it a -1. So Huseman with 2 outs and the base is clear will face Greg Gagne. That's a 6-7 for Huseman, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So Huseman comes in and strikes out the only batter he faces in the 7th to end the inning, but an Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning for the Twins, and that sends us into the 7th inning stretch with the score. Now, Minnesota 4 and Cleveland 1, and Bert Blyleven will enter his fatigue inning, but he's going to enter it with a 3-run lead, and that's the best present he could ask for, I think. Since my coffee is still relatively warm, I'll skip the 7th inning stretch and we'll just keep going. Here's Mel Hall. It's a 1-5, and that's a base hit for Hall. That's the first thing against Blyleven. Hall, not much of a stealer, so he will hold. Here's Brooke Jacoby. It's a 1-8 for Jacoby, and that is another walk. So a single and a walk back-to-back, and now one base runner away from being fatigued is Mr. Blyleven. He seems to not be able to handle the prosperity of being given a 3-run lead. Twins have action in their bullpen, as they have left-handed activity in the bullpen. The Colonel, Joe Klink, loosening in the bullpen for the Twins, in case Blyleven gets fatigued and in trouble. Here's Corey Snyder. 5-7. That is a ground ball shortstop X. Possible double play. Gagne's a 2E24. See if the double die shows up again. And it does, as usual. 2 and a 4. 2 and a 4 is a G3 pound. Nobody's being held on, so the pound's irrelevant. But the only play for Gagne will be to go to go to first rather. So we know the base runners are going to advance to second and third. That's a 6, and Gagne is an E24. There's a 6 right there. So not only do they advance, but it's actually they're going to reach on the error. A 24 and a 6 is an E1. So bases are now loaded. 1 base error on Mr. Gagne has loaded the bases with nobody out. That one does not count against Blyleven because that quite simply should have been at least 1 out, if not 2. But bases are loaded. The infield's back. They still got a 3-run lead. They need outs. Here's Bernazard. 5-11, switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball. Pitcher X, right back to Blyleven. Blyleven, let's see. It doesn't give the range on the card, so I've got to go to the computer to get his range. It's either probably a 2 or a 3, I imagine. I would think that's what his range is, but we'll find out. Unfortunately, 1987 cards don't have this information on them. He is a 2 range, okay? So he's a 2E21. 2E21. And it's hit to the pitcher, so the pitcher is assumed to be in automatically. So we'll go to the infield in chart once the 2E21 is done. 2 and a 16. Get my pitcher chart. 2 and a 16 is a G1. This could be a 1-2-3 double play, but the 16 there is, or 17 there is a little bit troublesome. E21 and a 17. There's a 2-base error on Blyleven. Unbelievable. E21 and that's a 17. There's a 2-base error on Blyleven. So back-to-back errors by the Twins. And that's going to score 2 runs. Cut the lead to 4-3. And it's going to send the tying run Bernazard to third. Still nobody out. Unbelievable with this bad fielding. Rick Dempsey's your scheduled hitter, but he will be called back and they will go to a pinch hitter. They will go to pinch hitting. Let's see, do they go to... They're going to go to Carmen Castillo to pinch hit, and then they'll bring in Chris Bando to catch. Chris Bando will be your catcher. But right now, Carmen Castillo will do the pinch hitting for Dempsey. So Carmen Castillo, pinch hitter in the 7th, and then Bando will catch in the 8th. All right, so Castillo batting, runners at second and third, nobody out. Infield is now in. Blyleven still in. Still not fatigued because you can't count those errors against him. He deserved a much better fate than what he's getting. 2-8, and that's a strikeout and a big one. So he strikes out Castillo for out number 1. Now with the left-handed Butler coming up, I wonder if they're going to go to the bullpen here for Klink. Butler did walk against him and single against him. So they're going to make the move to the bullpen. Tom Kelly has made the move, and Joe Klink is going to be coming on, the Colonel. Joe Klink. Straight out of Stalag 13. All right, -4. And he's a 0, so it's a -4. But he's got a tough task in facing Brett Butler. Runners at second, third, 1 out. Infield obviously going to be in. And we'll get the numbers on Klink. And then finish up the numbers on Blyleven when the inning is over. For Joe Klink, he is 0-0 with a 5.19 earned run average. This will be his 15th appearance. He's pitched 8 2/3 innings, 13 hits, 5 walks, and 9 strikeouts. And just as a side for Klink, Klink is holding left-handed batters in the replay to a 176 average, 3 out of 18. But right-handers are getting him for a 455 average, 10 of 26. So he is definitely a one-trick pony. This is one and done. His only batter he's going to face is Brett Butler. Even if he gets him out, they will be pulling him and bringing in Keith Atherton. Will be coming on to pitch in place of Klink. So this is the only batter Klink's going to face. He's going to face him for one batter, and that's going to be it. So his job is to get Brett Butler, and that's it. Infield in, second and third, 1 out, 4-3 ball game now. 3-5, and that's a single. There's an anti-clutch, but it's not 2 outs, so the single is good. And Brett Butler gets that key base hit. Scoring is Snyder. We'll see about Bernazard. The right fielder arm, Davidson, is a -2. Bernazard runs at a 15, not being held as a trail runner is a 16. but then the -2 makes him a 14. But if they throw through, Butler's going to get second base. But I think you have to throw through to try to stop the go-ahead run from scoring. So they will throw for the plate. Butler will automatically take second on the throw. But it's a 1-14, and he's safe. And he is in there. So it's a 2-run single off the bat of Brett Butler to give the Tribe the lead right back as they put 4 of their own on the board. Butler does take second on the throw, and that's it for Klink. He had one job to do and couldn't do it. So Klink gives up a hit. And now Keith Atherton coming on for the Twins. Right-hander. He is a 0 hold, so 0. And let's get Atherton's numbers. Hello, Joel. Good to see you. Atherton on the replay. Let's get his numbers. Klink just had one job to do and couldn't do it. So Atherton on the replay is 1-3 with a 5.87 earned run average. In 14 previous appearances, he has gone 23 innings, 22 hits, 6 walks, and 21 strikeouts. Butler is at second with 1 out. They are holding him on second base, trying to keep him close. And Julio Franco is your batter. Righty on righty against Atherton. That's a 3-8 for Franco. And that's a ground ball to short A, so that's going to freeze Butler at second base. And there are now 2 away. For Dave Clark. Dave Clark is your batter. Clutch situation for Clark, and he gains hits on 1-9 and 1-10 in the clutch. Also 3-10 and 3-3 in the clutch. So he's definitely a good clutch hitter, according to Strat-O-Matic. 5-12, but it's going to be a ground ball to first base C, so Larkin will field it, flip to Atherton covering, and that's going to do it. So Atherton gets him out of the jam, which Klink could not do. All 4 of these runs are charged to Blyleven, so he's on the hook for the loss. But 2 of these runs are unearned. So for Blyleven, he's going to give up 5 runs, but only 3 of them are earned. 5 runs. Actually, none of these are earned now that I look at this, because that's 2 errors. That should have been 3 outs. So none of those runs, all 4 are unearned, actually, because these 2 guys would have been out after the strikeout here, because these should have been outs. So there's none of those are earned. So it's 5 runs, 1 earned for Blyleven. And that's in his 6 1/3 innings pitching. 6 1/3 innings of pitching. And he's going to give up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. He will walk 1. I think he walks 3. It looks like he walks 3. And he strikes out 3. But he's on the hook for the loss. Huseman now is in line to get the win, as he will come out and pitch the 8th inning. It's now 5-4 Cleveland. 5-4 Cleveland. And I know with the sliding this over to the, as we're getting to the later innings, I understand that the cards are cutting off on the 6 and the 3 columns against right-handers, but I will slide them over if I roll a white 3 or a white 6. Everything else you can see, but the white 3 and the white 6, I'll move them over. Here's Huseman. 6-9, so we're going to bring him over. 6-9 against righties. That's a strikeout. So Huseman has faced 2 batters. He struck them both out. So perfect so far as he strikes out Dan Gladden. 1 away for Lombardozzi. That's a 3-8 for Lombardozzi, and he will ground to third. That's 2 down. So 2 up and 2 down for Puckett, and Puckett is the tying run. If he can go yard, he would tie the game. They still have Kent Herbeck in their back pocket to use as a pinch hitter at some point. Let's see, 4-8 for Huseman, and that's a base on balls. So 2-out walk issued by Huseman. Now let's see about Puckett. He could try to get the lead. Huseman is a -1, so we got the lead to be a 1-12. But I think it's worth the gamble to get him in scoring position. So 4, 5, or 6. He gets the 5, he gets the lead. So 15 being held to 13, -1's a 12. 1 to 12, he'll make it. And he gets caught stealing. Another caught stealing by the Twins. They've lost 3 base runners on the base paths. Just not, the base running has not worked out well for them. So Atherton back out to start the bottom of the 8th, facing Joe Carter, Mel Hall, and Brooke Jacoby. .310 for Carter, and that's a fly to left, so Carter is out of there. 1 away. Atherton is trying to keep it close for the 9th. Mel Hall, 1 for 3. .310, so we bring this over again. .310, that's a ground ball right back to Atherton. .311 would have been a home run, but again, missed it by that much. That's the second time Hall has done that. He did it in the 2nd inning. Got the same roll, .310, where .311 would have been a home run. I need a Maxwell Smart meme to come out and say missed it by that much. Here's Jacoby, 1-2. That's a hit by pitch. He got plunked. Jacoby gets plunked. 2 out, hit by pitch. I don't think he appreciated it either, but he'll shrug it off and go to first base. And here is Corey Snyder. 6-6 against Atherton versus a right-handed pitcher is a strikeout. He's not tired, so the strikeout is good, and that will end the inning. And that will do it for Atherton. Even if they tie the game, he won't come back because he just went an inning and 2/3. And I think that's all they're going to ask of him. So Klink doesn't allow any runs, but he allows the inherited runners to score, which was just as bad. For Atherton, he was nearly flawless except for the hit by pitch. Gave up nothing, struck out 1, and gave up nothing except the hit by pitch. So we go to the top of the 9th. Houston will start it off, but Cleveland will look at their bullpen for potential closing options. They don't have much. Their bullpen's not that great. Ernie Macho Camacho did have 1 save, but his ERA is 9.22. Ed Vandenberg, his ERA is 5.10. So there's not a whole lot of options here. Doug Jones is not on the roster at the moment. He's normally the guy that would close things out, but he's not on the roster at the moment. So they may have to be stuck with Houston. All right, here is Gaetti to lead things off. If we get down to Laudner and Gagne in that area, you're looking at Kent Herbeck as a potential pinch hitter. So here's Gaetti. 210 for Gaetti. He's going to fly it to center, 1 away. Of course, with Larkin up there now, they may just pinch hit for Larkin with Gaetti. I think they will because they need a home run. And Herbeck's got a lot more power. So Kent Herbeck will pinch hit for Gene Larkin. And if it goes extra or to the bottom of the 9th, then Herbeck will stay in the game and play first base. But this is the time. If they don't pinch hit him now, they may not even, the game may end before he gets a chance. So Mr. Herbeck will come in and pinch hit. He's facing a right-handed reliever, so that's, much to his credit. I didn't need the D20. That was kind of weird. Now, the Tribe could counter and bring in Ed Vandenberg to face Herbeck, but I don't think they like Vandenberg to try to finish this game out the way Houston's pitching. It might be better to leave him in there. So they're going to stick with Houston. 6'9", left-handed, pops him up to first base. That's 2 down. And it's the last chance. It's Tom Brunansky, last chance saloon for the Minnesota Twins, who seemingly had this game in the bag after the 3-run homer by Laudner, but then they kind of gave it away here in the bottom of the 7th with 2 errors. That's a 5-4. And that's an in-home run. Look at this. This is an in-home run chance on a 5-4, 1-15. That's a 13. And Brunansky, normal power. So Tom Brunansky has just tied this game. 1-15 is a home run on the 5-4. in-home run chance. That's a 13. It's gone. Tom Brunansky, 2-out home run when the Twins are on the brink of losing this game. A solo shot has tied the game at 5 apiece, and there will be a bottom of the ninth. So for Brunansky, you get his numbers. Brunansky, whoops, come up here. Brunansky just hit home run number 5, RBI number 15, but it will guarantee a bottom of the ninth. 110 for Davidson, and he singles. 2-out single for Davidson. He can get a lead, 2-5. He will get the lead. He's got a 19 if he can get the lead. He does not get the lead, so that's going to send up Tim Laudner, the catcher. He had a 3-run homer his last time up. 1-7, but he will strike out here. And we go to the bottom of the ninth. That will be it for Houston. Houston's going to go 2 1/3. And he can still win it if the Cleveland Indians win the game in the bottom of the ninth. He can become the winner. Otherwise, gets no decision. And that home run by Brunansky takes Blyleven off the hook. So Houston is going to strike out 1, 2, 3. He's going to give up 2 hits and the run, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. All right, so the Twins need a new pitcher as we come out for the bottom of the ninth. Twins will need a new pitcher. Coming up for Cleveland will be Bernazard, Dempsey. Well, Bernazard, a pinch hitter for Dempsey. Well, I'm sorry, not Dempsey. It's Bando. So it's Bernazard, Bando, and Butler, the 3 Bs. Bernazard, Bando, and Butler. And that is switch, and left. So the Twins could go to a lefty, or they could go to a righty if they choose. They got Alan Anderson in the bullpen, but he's not very good. His ERA is 10.95, so I doubt you want him in there. They do have George Frazier, and they got Reardon, but it's not a safe situation. So Berenguer, who was in the bullpen, is now in the starting rotation. So looks like we're down to Frazier here. George Frazier. It's a +5. Oh, let's see. Yeah, +5 on the hold. That's not a good thing, especially if Butler gets on base. But it's going to be George Frazier, and we'll get the numbers on Frazier. Frazier on the replay is 0-0, but his ERA is 7.71. He's pitched 15 games so far, 23 1/3 innings, 28 hits, 17 walks, 19 strikeouts. So Frazier facing Bernazard, Bando, and Butler, the killer bees. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. So he gets past the first B by striking out Bernazard. Here's Chris Bando. This is Bando's first at bat. He came in as a defensive replacement for Rick Dempsey, who was pinch hit for. Bando on the replay is hitting 185, 12 out of 65. 1 homer and 8 driven in. Frazier to Bando, 6-11. That's ground ball pitcher X. Frazier is an E18. Let me see what he is on the actual range part. George Frazier. Is he a 2 or 3 or what is he? He is a 3. So it's a 3 E18. 3 and an E18 for Frazier. Oh, you got hop and dice. We're going to re-roll that. 3 and a 6. Boy, that double die just keeps coming up like the Energizer Bunny. 3-6, he still will get to it. That's a 10, so he should be okay with that. E18 and a 10. There's an 11, but no 10, so good play for Frazier. 2 down, and here comes the third killer bee, Brett Butler. That's a 3-9 for Butler, and that's a single. There's anti-clutch, but there's nobody on base, so Butler will single, and he will be looking to run, especially that +5 from Frazier. Makes that very tempting. So Butler needs a 2 through 8 or a 12 to get the lead, and it's going to be almost an automatic stolen base if he does. Whoops, I meant to roll the D20 with that, not the white D6. So that's a 7, which does give him the lead. He's a 15. Vinhell's a 13, but the +5's an 18. The T rating on Laudner is an 8. they're going to throw through anyway. E18, 1 to 18, he steals it. And he's in there. Stolen base for Butler. Brett Butler steals second base. He is the winning run for Julio Franco. Franco is 0 for 4, but on the season he was a .319 hitter. Dave Clark is behind him, a lefty, much lesser hitter. But would you really pinch hit or would you really intentionally walk the right-hander to face a left-hander? I don't know, especially when Franco is 0 for 4. So they're going to go ahead and pitch to Franco, but hopefully for them cautiously. 3-4 for Franco. That's a ground ball to third. That's going to end the inning, and we have extra innings here in Cleveland. Tied at 5 apiece. Frazier got out of it. And now for Cleveland, they will go to Ed Vandenberg, or they may go to Scott Bales, actually. They're going to go to Scott Bales. He can give them some innings. And I think now that we're getting way over here in extra innings, I'm going to have to bring the cards over this way. So Scott Bales started the season as a starter, then now it's gone to relief. I think he goes back to starting later on. -4 hold. Bando's arm is a +1, so it makes him a -3. And he will be facing Gagne, Gladden, and Lombardozzi, the scheduled hitters for the Twins. Get the numbers on Bales. And Mr. Gooderman, you got what you asked for. You wanted extra innings, and you got extra innings. So Scott Bales, 2-3 with a .597 earned run average. This will be his 13th appearance. He's made 5 starts. He's got 1 save. 37 2/3 innings, 47 hits, 12 walks, and 21 strikeouts, facing Mr. Greg Gagne. 6-7, and that's a leadoff single for Gagne. Gagne needs a 2 through 6 to get the lead. He got picked off once on an 8 in this game already. So we wonder if they would, and Gladden's not really that good of a bunter as a C bunter. They're going to let Gladden swing away. They're not going to send Gagne, but they're going to let Gladden swing away. 2-6 against the lefty. Ground ball shortstop B, so that's a fielder's choice. And taking over as the runner at first base is now Gladden, and he's got a much better chance to run. So he's going to try for the lead, 4, 5, or 6. And he gets the lead, but that's a 1. He could possibly be picked off. Double die strikes again. 1 to 14, he's back safely. 15 to 20, he's out. He's back safely. So, but now he can't establish a lead. So he's got to hold. Here is Lombardozzi. 4-2 to the right-hander. That's a fly ball left field X. We are looking at Mel Hall. He's a 3-4. 3-4 for Mel Hall. 3 to 17, he'll get to that double die cooperated this time. So 3 to 17 will be an easy play. That's a 10. That shouldn't be any problem at all on a 4. 4, there's no 10 there. 3 and a 17 is an F3 rather, so nobody can move up. Runner has to hold. 2 down for Kirby Puckett. That's a 1-5 for Puckett, and there he goes. Clean as a baby's ass again. Kirby Puckett, a 1-5 home run. 1-5 home run. Kirby Puckett. The Union Gap does it again. Kirby Puckett. For Puckett, home run number 6, RBI number 19 for Kirby Puckett. His second home run of the game. Actually, it's home run number 7. It's a 2-run shot for Puckett. So actually, it's RBIs number 19 and 20 for Kirby Puckett. His second home run of the game. Obviously, he is looking like the player of the game right now. As Kirby Puckett goes deep, that 1-5, no D20 needed. Clean as can be. Twins now lead it 7-5. And here's Gary Gaetti, and leave it to the Tribe, the Cleveland Indians, to pull feet out of the jaws of victory. And of course, now Jeff Reardon is going to come in and pitch the 9th inning or the 10th inning for the Twins. 5-9, and that is a ground ball back to Bales to end the inning. But Scott Bales couldn't get it done. Goes 1 inning, gives up 2 hits and 2 runs. No walks, no strikeouts. But Jeff Reardon will be coming on for the Twins, the closer. Frazier's going to go 1 inning, and he's going to give up a hit, nothing else in the strikeout. So 7-5 is the score. And Jeff Reardon on to pitch for the Twins. We'll get Reardon's number. He has not done that well in the replay, that's for sure. Real world, he's 8-8 with a 4.48, and he had a bunch of saves. They don't give the saves on the card, so I don't know his total saves in real world. But anyway, he's going to be facing Clark, Carter, and Hall, the scheduled hitters for Cleveland. On the replay, Reardon is 2-1 with a 3.54 earned run average and 6 saves. He'll be making his 14th appearance. He's gone 20 in the 3rd innings, 19 hits, 5 walks, and 16 strikeouts. Now, Cleveland on the bench, they don't have much left. They got Andre Thornton, and he's had a bad year. He only hit 118, so I don't think we're going to use him. They have Doug Frobel, a lefty, and he hit 100. So I think we're stuck with who we got. That's it. That's who they have on the bench. So we're pretty much sticking with the players that are in the game. That's pretty much going to do it. So here is Clark. 4-7 against Reardon. That's base on balls. That's a good start for Cleveland. Got to have base runners. You're down by 2. You at least got to have 1 base runner. Clark not going anywhere. Here's Carter. He homered in the 2nd inning. If he comes through with the home run, we got a tie ball game. So Reardon facing Carter. That's a 2. Chance for a balk or pass ball. That's chance for a balk. So we need to get Reardon's balk rating. Let's find out what Reardon's balk rating is. Because again, the cards don't reflect it. But the computer tells me it's a 0. It's got a wild pitch of 5 and a 0 balk rating. So no balk. 5-5 is a strikeout. So he gets the strikeout of Carter. 1 away from Mel Hall. Hall is 1 for 4 with a run scored. Clark still at first base, not going anywhere. 6-9 on Reardon. Ground ball second base C. That'll get the runner to second base, but now there are 2 outs. And this run doesn't really mean anything. They still need a second run. So we're down to Brooke Jacoby. But if Jacoby can hit the home run, that would tie this ball game. Maybe he's looking for some vengeance after being hit by a pitch his last time up. He could be looking for payback. It is a clutch situation. Reardon to Jacoby. That's a 3-10, and that's a ground ball to short. Boy, 3-11 once again would have been a home run. Just missed it by that much. But the devil died. Well, that would have been a home run with the devil dive, but the D6s gave him a 3-10 instead of a 3-11. It's just a ground ball to short, and the ball game is over. Reardon will collect the save. He gives up a walk and he gets a walk and a strikeout, nothing else. The loss will go to Bales. The win will go to Frazier, and the save to Reardon. We'll get the totals on this ball game and wrap it up. For the Twins, 7 runs, and I've got them for 10 hits, and they committed 2 errors. For Cleveland, 5 runs. I have them for 7 hits and no errors. These are unofficial until I put them in the computer. But that's what I have so far. For Minnesota, 7-10-2. For Cleveland, 5-7-0. Minnesota with the win improves to 19-21 as they try to get back in that American League West race. Poor Tribe fall to 15-25. We'll get the numbers on the wins and losses on the pitchers so I can get their records. With the loss, Bales drops to 2-4. With that loss, go to Minnesota's numbers. With the win, Frazier is now 1-0. That was his first decision. And Reardon will pick up save number 7 on the replay. So game 270 is in the books. The only game played May the 21st. Everybody else was off for traveling because it was a Thursday in 1987. So we'll be heading to the Friday to the weekend games starting on May 22nd. And we'll look at the schedule and see who might be the first, who might be the marquee game, so to speak. Let's see who we got here on May 22nd. All new series will begin. The Baltimore Orioles will be in Oakland to take on the Oakland A's. The Chicago White Sox will travel to Fenway to take on the Boston Red Sox, and that's going to be the first game. It's going to be Richard Dotson against Roger Clemens, and we'll have that game as the next game tomorrow morning as the 1987 replay will continue. Cleveland will be in Milwaukee. A good one, Detroit is at Minnesota. It'll be Jack Morris against Frank Viola. That's definitely going to be the second game in the probably on Wednesday, I imagine. Kansas City is in Texas. Lee Brand against Mike Lloyd. New York Yankees are in California. Rick Rhoden against Mike Witt. That's a good one. That'll be one of the games I do. And Toronto's at Seattle. John Cerruti against Scott Bankhead. So the games for the May 22nd games, I will do 3 of them on live stream on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tomorrow will be Chicago at Boston. Wednesday will be Detroit at Minnesota. And Thursday will be New York at California. The other games I will play offline, and then we'll wrap it up on Friday and start the next games for that weekend. So game 270 is in the book. Game 271 will be Chicago at Boston. Rich Dotson against Roger Clemens, White Sox and Red Sox, the Battle of the Sox from Fenway Park. Tonight will be a resumption in the Demolition League. It'll be game number 30. Kansas City Royals and the Pittsburgh Pirates will finish their 3-game series, and that will finish the second block of games. There are 18 total blocks. First 9 are the teams play each other for the first time. Second 9, they repeat the process and just switch the home and road. So block number 2 will be finishing up tonight of game 30 out of 270, and it'll be Pittsburgh hosting Kansas City. Then after that, all new opponents as they go to block number 3 for the scheduling. But for here, the Minnesota Twins escape with a 7-5 not overtime, watching football, so used to overtime, extra inning matchup as Kirby Puckett, player of the game. Kirby Puckett. There he is, Kirby Puckett, your player of the game. 2 home runs in the game, including the 2-run homer. He homered in the 7th to tie the score, and he homers in the top of the 10th to win it for the Twins. And Kirby Puckett had 28 home runs in 1987, hits his 7th right there to give the Twins the win and send the Cleveland Indian fans home disappointed once again as Cleveland drops to 15-25, Twins improve to 19-21. So I do want to thank everybody for spending part of your Monday morning with me. Try to get the week off to a good start. Again, we'll be back tonight sometime around, probably going to be real late because I do have a men's church group to go to at 7, and sometimes I don't get home from that till about 9. And by the time I get settled in and everything, it might be 9:30 before I get a chance to play. So probably looking about 9:30. That's what I'm guessing for that. And that'll be Kansas City and Pittsburgh playing in that one. And that will finish up that block of games, game number 30. So hope you all have a great rest of your Monday during the daytime. Hope it's a good one for you. Hope the weather's nice where you are. It's certainly nice here. Fall has really hit, and it feels wonderful. Get the fresh air, no humidity. Just a glorious weather day today. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play. However you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.